Today we are going to talk about servant leadership. When we hear this term servant leadership, what comes in our mind? Traditionally, we are all accustomed to the vertical pyramid of leadership, wherein we talk about going top down. Most of the decisions are made right at the top, communicated midway, and middle managers are the ones who are left on their own to manage the frontline staff. Here, most of the things are considered from the point of view of organizational strategies, organizational plans, organizational objectives, so on and so forth. But in servant leadership, it's about inverting the pyramid upside down, and the whole focal point is the frontline staff. The entire organizational hierarchy exists to support that person so that his entire objective is achieved. The moment he or she achieves his or her objectives, they become better in performing. Eventually, their performance goes up. When their performance goes up, then the organization's objectives are also met. So, the person who's facing the customer, or the person who's facing the client, or the person who's facing the end line is the one who is empowered. So the entire structure of the management exists to support him in terms of making sure that he is empowered to achieve his objectives. I'll give an example. Take an example of an airline where there are people who are ground staff, crew members, check-in counter staff, ticketing agents, so on and so forth. So the entire organizational structure is weaved around to ensure that they do their jobs well. If they do their jobs well, the customer satisfaction is at the highest. If that happens, eventually the revenue grows. So it's investing in the people. Okay, most of the companies have the planning, strategies, etc. Investors' decisions are based on the organizational objectives. Here, the basic mantra is very simple. Invest in your people, show them the objectives that the business wants to achieve, show them their benefits into it, and then build a structure on 4 areas. Traditionally, the traditional organizations talk about 4 things. Compliance. So your job is supposed to comply with a few rules, few job description, KRAs, KPIs, so on and so forth. One is compliance. Second one is constraints. So you can do only this much, and this is what your purview, this is what your job permits. Third, control, where the entire organization whole objective is to control the activities and events and control the people. Okay. And then the fourth one is contract. So my job with the company is a contract, or the company's decision to hire me is a contract. So from these compliance, control, contract and constraints, we move to 4 new values in servant leadership, which are called stretch, discipline, trust and support. Stretch. I'll take the first one. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to do much better than what I used to do earlier. That's kind of, creating a stretch in myself. The second, so from compliance, I move to stretch, where in compliance, I'm only complying with my duties. In stretch, I'm stretching my abilities to perform better. Okay. From constraints to discipline. Okay, so nobody needs to tell me that I need to be present at 9 o'clock in the morning in the office, or be attentive to the office meeting. This is my own ownership of the tasks, because I own up the task, because I see my benefits and I'm aligned to the organizational objectives. So that is where I mean by discipline. Then comes support. Okay. Then comes support is where the entire organizational structure is upside down to support me, to enable me to achieve my annual goals, my objectives, my deadlines, so on and so forth. So my manager is acting like my support. He is helping me to achieve more and more. So eventually, if I achieve, he achieves more. If he achieves, the organization further down the line achieves more and more. Then comes trust. Okay, so you need to trust your people. More than the contractual obligation, you say that I trust you, and invest in your people, their ability, and ensure that they perform better. So this is where you are emotionally investing yourself in your employees. The three things that I say are ABC. Acknowledge your people for whatever that they do. Once they achieve their objectives, ensure that you acknowledge them. Acknowledge them for all the contributions that they've made towards the organization. A is acknowledge. B, back your people. Back your people with support where you feel probably they need to be groomed more or they need to be upskilled. That's where you're supposed to support or back them up, and C, count on them. That is, trust them. So A, B, C, acknowledge your people, back them up, and count on them. Once you invest in people, once you act as a servant leader, I'm sure your organization grows multifold. There are classic examples of many such organizations practicing servant leadership, benefiting out of it, and growing multifold in few years. So wish you all the best. Thank you.